Hello and welcome to the 4Corners podcast. I'm Brad, joined as always by Matt and Shad. And we've got a big show for you today because it's all sorts of stuff.
Where?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Brad, let me pause you there. Just as an aside, this is just for like you and I to laugh at, or it's just really to pop you. But did you see the picture that Paul White Big Show took recently with some of the Tokyo Joshi Pro
no,
wrestling
I didn't
girls?
see it.
It popped up and it's like, oh, why are you? Because I think they went to Dynasty. Some of them went to Dynasty because they actually I think they ran like a show or two. Like didn't they run a show like in Vancouver or whatever Dynasty was, Winnipeg? I don't know. I forget where it was. But a few of them actually went to AEW Dynasty like recently, like last couple of weeks, and they took a photo with Paul White. And of course he's like,
He's like legit.
towers over them. They're like coming up to his waist.
Some of
maybe,
those
'cause
girls
they're all
are like
tiny little
4'10". Like some of those girls are like 4'10".
Oh yeah, like Shoko Nakajima.
Yeah.
She's like 4'10". Like they're tiny, and he's just standing up. He's got a big smile on his face. He's like super happy to meet them. And someone quoted did a quip where it's like it stands for Tokyo Joshi Paul White.
Oh, I saw that. I did see that. I did see.
I got a big laugh out of that.
I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but one of those girls went to of course I can't, the heart attack grill or whatever, and ate the giant ass burger.
Yeah, Wakana.
Yeah.
She
probably weighs 95 pounds.
She's a tiny girl, probably like 5.5 feet, if that, maybe, I would guess. And she eats like ungodly amounts of food. Like I, as a grown man, like
I couldn't eat that.
I would not even try. Like a quarter of it, maybe half of it. I would be like,
no,
I'm bursting.
That burger.
Yeah.
I took one look at that burger and I'm like, there would be damage done. Like,
I'd be.
It looked good. I mean, the burger actually looked good.
It looked well done. Yeah.
And the burger actually had like some meat to it. I kind of don't like the smash burger trend because it's like here's a bunch of like here's like 4 patties. It's like, yeah, but they're like tissue paper thin.
Yeah.
So like you give me like 4 smash burger patties, it's like the equivalent of like 1 burger.
There's a couple of local places that do it really well.
There are some smash burgers that can be done well because you can, but it as a like. We're switching everything to smash burgers. It's like, oh, okay. You're just squashing everything. Okay, got it.
And the Reese Shake It, the actual smash burger is delicious. But
I tried that.
So this isn't a first time, but so I'm just gonna say it right out. This is a rare instance on the show where we're gonna be pro CM Punk. Not for what his wrestling was in the ring, but for our first topic of the night, which is I like to title this "Why Can't Wrestling Fans Be Normal?"
Yeah, it's a good question.
An evergreen question.
Well, I don't understand. Like, it's like I'm when I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, I am not saying WWE is like doing anything intentional. I just don't understand what it is about their fan base where like this just seems to get so cultivated and it's like so much worse, because it's a problem across like all of wrestling, I would say, fandom wise, but there's something like so much more like aggressive about it in the WWE fandom, and I don't know if it's like accessibility or just like there's more people, so like the bad actors stand out more, but like I just don't why can't you be normal?
So I have a theory in that, and I don't know what it is about wrestling that can bring out weird fan stuff.
Well, I do. I can tell you one reason, because I think you're probably going to say it, so go ahead.
Well, I was going to go into something else. The thing that gets me is that I think we see a bunch of creepy wrestling fan things happen with WWE wrestlers because they're left to fend for themselves a lot. I mean, what was it? Last week the 2 stories that were talked about, 3 stories were talked about going into Mania. We can't get people to buy tickets. Darby Allin winning the AEW title, and Becky Lynch talking about how the talent have to pay and arrange for everything themselves. And so, if they're having to pay for and arrange everything themselves, they don't have anybody looking out for them or backing them up. And so, like, let's say they try and avoid the creepy fans by taking a red eye in at, that arrives at 7 in the morning or something like that. It's not like they've got a bodyguard sitting there waiting for them. And, here come these, creepy fans that come, wandering up on them. And because apparently they don't have anything better to do than sit at the airport and wait for them. And so I think we see more of that, because where they're out having to handle all of their own stuff, there's not a barrier for someone being a weirdo trying to track them.
I'm not saying this is like a pussification of America thing, but I think we've softened as a society, so there's not the expectation that if you get out of line, they're just gonna haul off and sock you one in the face. Also, I think wrestling fans are probably highly autistic and a greater concentration than the general population, and that's why some of it comes out, because people don't know any fucking better. So I mean, I don't know if anyone's like done any formalized studies, but I do know that that's like not speaking too out of like turn for what I think is the reality.
What are you gonna say, Matt?
I mean, well, to that point, like, I guess we kind of have to be careful about that. But yeah, I would say in my interactions with wrestling fans and going to conventions and stuff like that, there's been a larger degree of people that I would say like it would not shock me if they were on the spectrum. And I don't know if maybe I would, if I had to posture like a theory, it would be that like the kind of nature of
the repetitious nature is what I've thought.
Oh, well, I was just thinking like the very kind of like they're like good versus evil morality plays. They're kind of like, in a way, very, very comic book like, or cartoonish can be, or there's big characters, and that I feel like appeals to people who may be on the spectrum, because I mean, there can be shades of gray, but sometimes you have like these black and white characters. Like, this is clearly like a good guy, it's clearly a bad guy, and it's a lot of times it's colorful.
There's a repetition to it, like the the entrances, guys kind of approach matches in a predictable way. It's accessible. I think it's easier to have discourse about, I think, than like football in some ways.
Yeah.
I think there may be a point to that, in that with competitive sports, there's a certain human element of, you never know when someone's going to be having a great night. You never know when someone's going to be having a bad night, that sort of stuff. Whereas with wrestling, there's an established, okay, we know full well going into this that someone has decided what the story is going to be, kind of thing. And so the discussion isn't about, unless you're an in-ring work rate kind of person, and, part of me is, a lot of it comes down to how the story is written, and that's a little easier to run with in discussions, I think.
Baseball has a highly autistic fan base. Like, I would say, like, after wrestling, it's baseball, but baseball is because baseball is very numbers heavy, and there is like a level of and there is a certain predictability to baseball, like, because like the numbers, like a person's stats can like vary, but it's okay, someone's up at bat and like one of 5 things can happen. You just don't know what it's going to be, but it's like very predictable what it's going to be.
I would also kind of say, if we're exploring this like topic, I think also like wrestling audiences are they're more like accepting, and by that I mean like,
because
a lot of people come to different types of sports games, but I mean, if a dude shows up decked out and like, I love John Cena, I'm gonna dress like John Cena, like and they're clearly like maybe a little off. I mean, like on the spectrum, and maybe there's a social functioning gap that becomes obvious when you interact with them. Like, you're not going to be like people in the audience, like maybe they'd be like, "Hey man, I love John Cena too. Like, it's great." Like, and they may spark a conversation with that person, or just at least be kind to them. And not that like regular sports fans are jerks, but I mean, you may have people who a little more like closed off.
Well,
I feel like there's a social aspect to pro wrestling. Like, even just going to a show, like, you may not know anyone sitting around you, but a moment happens, like all of you could just like jump up, pop, like you'd be excited together. I don't know. I'm just trying to think off my feet about different reasons why.
Sports, like in a sports, like it's like in a regular like event, like people are approachable, but like it's a different kind of person. But I also think like wrestling generally has like I would say that's where the outcasts have always ended up. So like as much as like racism is like pervaded in wrestling, but that was always a place where if you were like a minority or you were gay, like you had a place. Even in like the industry, you had a place, because that's where all you weren't, they were all, you're already kind of like weird if you were in that. So it's like, yeah, who cares? Like,
I want to go back to one thing you said a minute ago. Like, Shad, I think you're right. Like, a lot of times, like, we are very, unfortunately, as a society, we're a very litigious society. So you have to worry about lawsuits and things like that. But I've heard it said in like before, and I think it's actually true. It's like we kind of lost something in the society when a certain degree of people stop thinking like, oh, I should watch what I say and do, because someone might come up to me and beat my ass. They may like kick my teeth in or punch me out and knock me flat on the ground, like just with the things that I'm saying. And sometimes you'll see like on social media, whatever, where someone will like pop off, and like someone will come up and they'll just haul off and like smack them for the things that they said.
Yeah, I saw one last week.
Yeah.
One of the guys in the Manosphere documentary just utterly got cold cocked walking down the street in New York, spewing his shit. And it's just like, yeah, that's gonna happen.
My favorite clips of that are when Buzz Aldrin punched that moon landing guy. I guess the two of them made up after the fact. And then there's one. Do you know who Johnny Somali is?
Oh yeah,
he's
I mean, he just got convicted in South Korea. Sorry,
there's a video where
he killed in North Korea. I almost slipped up.
Well, this happened in South Korea, where it's just like someone walking up and he just gets punched in the face, and it's hilarious.
I have no idea who that is.
He's a nuisance streamer, so he was going over to like Vitaly did this shit too. So they go over to these other countries and like break the law and like fuck with stuff, and he defaced comfort women statues, what he really got in deep shit for. So
if you're gonna go to another country, another society, and start like vandalism, it's like,
well, I think
you're so asking for trouble.
I think what happens is, what a lot of these people are finding out is they go over to these Asian countries because they think the racial stereotype is true, and then they go and they fuck around in these countries, and like the one guy, Vitaly, I don't know if it was Vietnam. No, it was the Philippines. He got arrested in the Philippines, and it's like, you're stupid. Like, because I don't know. Because people always go around and fuck around in the Philippines, and someone was asking me about, like, we were watching that Locked Up Abroad, and they did it in the Philippines. I'm like, yeah, this is the country where they had a president that was just like, I know how to solve the drug problem. We're just going to start murdering drug dealers.
Yeah.
Well, here's another thing.
And it was popular.
If you go to the Philippines, you're going to run across people that you may be like, oh, I'm a lot bigger than they are. You might be, but you're going to run across practitioners of Salat, of Muay Thai, of all kinds of stuff, and you're going to catch the living hell out of some consequences. And you know what? It's the best example I can think of actually wasn't in another country. There was a nuisance streamer thing where this guy was, we'll get react videos. And he had a kitchen knife, and he would charge at people on the sidewalk so they could film the reactions. And he charged one dude, and the dude was a CCW pulled and dropped him with 2 in the chest, and it's like it was just a prank, man. Like, no, he had a deadly weapon, and the police showed up, took the thing, and they were like, no, we're not arresting this guy. I don't care if it was a prank or not. You were running at someone with a deadly weapon. He was within his rights.
That was a TikTok trend last year where they would kick people's doors in. And it's like, that's a good way.
Shot?
That one, but that one was different because he's in deep shit because he shot the guy in the back because he was clearly running away. So that guy's fucked.
Yeah.
That guy is uber fucked, and I think he might end up pleading guilty. But yeah, that did happen. But he shot the guy in the back, so, and I think he was clearly like running away and chased him down and shot him in the back. So yeah, he's going away for that.
Yeah, yeah.
See that if they're running away, but I mean, I don't know. I'd also might give a little grace.
No, if they're running away and they're not in your,
if someone kicks on my door, and I think like they're gonna hurt me, and they start running away, it's like, oh well, they were running away.
If they're out of your house, if they're if they're out of your house, like, because it's even there was. It's not as true with Castle Doctrine, but in ye olden days of CCW or home defense, like there were people that say like, yeah, if you shoot them in the house and they get on your front porch, drag them back in the house because it saves you a lot of legal trouble.
I understand like Castle Doctrine, but I mean, if I was like that guy or that guy's attorney, and they just like, no, I don't want to take a plea or anything like that, I'd be like, all right, like, and I'd make it my case that like, yeah, in the heat of the moment, like he's not processing in his mind like, oh, well, the guy ran away, like I'm safe, like he's gonna be like freaking out and like he's gonna fire if he's like chasing the guy like down the block. Like, yeah, but if the guy like, well, he's not inside my house anymore, he's like at the end of the driveway, as long as your driveway isn't like a mile long. If it's like my driveway is like, if he ran out my front door, he's only got like 50 feet to go before he's on the road, if that.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I still shoot him, it's like, yeah, maybe technically, but I mean, like that's still heat of the moment. Like a guy could clear that in like a second. I may have already like pulled it and been firing.
So I'll just go from like, so I am a gun owner. I'll out myself. I have like taken all the CCW stuff. So like in my home defense plan, like especially at my old house, like there was a line. There was a line of like my room was down a hallway. And like you could rob me fucking blind, but the second you came down that hallway was when I was going to shoot you dead. But to me, so there's a couple of issues. So like I feel like if they're running away, they're no longer a threat, and you can't reasonably argue. And if they're not in your house. So the thing with Castle Doctrine, if you don't know what Castle Doctrine is, if someone is in your house uninvited, because there are stupid states where you have a duty to retreat, even if like they're breaking into your house. So the idea of the Castle Doctrine is you have no duty to retreat in your house, and they are a threat by being in your house.
It's called Castle Doctrine because it's a man's home is his castle.
Yeah, and stand your ground is
if they invade your space, your castle, your home.
Yeah,
then you are. It's for states that actually legally it's permissible. And you can just. Kill
and there's a lot of
in theory kill.
There's a lot of intentional misinformation about stand your ground, but all stand your ground is you have no duty to retreat because
you don't have a duty to flee if you're being threatened.
Yeah, because the states that have duty to retreat is stupid and it's like completely ridiculous. But so for me, okay, so if they are out of your house, they're no longer a threat. Because if they come back, you can just shoot them, or if they turn back towards you, you can just fucking shoot them. Because I feel like if they're running enough that you shot them in the back, they're not a threat anymore. And then the other thing is they're running down your driveway. I also think you're being negligent because if you shoot at them and miss them, you're probably going to shoot one of your neighbors, or it's going to go into someone else's house. So
that's a fair thing. Look, we had a few years ago we had a stalker issue. There's a reason that I have cameras now. Didn't have that before. And I went and did my CCW classes and that sort of stuff. Look, the answer to in my house is if you come to the mouth of the hallway where my wife and kids sleep, you have given up. Like that's just it. if you're standing there, you're not in my house, then I have every reason to believe that you've shown up to hurt us. And it's one of those things where you have this thought in your head of like, could I really do that? Is that something that I could broach? But guess what? It's going to take me about 8 pounds of pressure to make that decision, and it's not going to be real hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, I could. I'm telling you, I could do it. I'm not like a macho guy,
Yeah.
like puffing my chest or like that. I'm just saying, like I got a small house. Like it's not like wait, let's hide in this other room, like way over here. No, it's a small house. Like you
They'll
could
never find us in the pool house.
If you did a speed run of my house, you could probably be in every room, like top and bottom. You could run in and out of every room in like a minute.
Yeah.
Small house. Like if someone breaks into my house, like I'm not even gonna think like, oh, is this castle doctrine such a duty retreat? I'm like, no, I'm gonna just attack this person and inflict whatever sort of grievous bodily harm I can upon them to protect my family.
It's not a problem in a lot of those states. You just get these weird DAs that have like an axe to grind with people defending themselves, which is a problem. Fun fact though, my state changed a couple years ago, and it's a constitutional carry state now.
Mine is too.
So, fun fact.
Yeah, and it's a decision you've just got to make.
Yeah, and I tell anyone that's thinking about getting a gun, I say you should take the CCW course, because I don't know if other states do it, but in Ohio you do about 10 hours of coursework, and they drill into your head the consequences of being an idiot and just shooting your gun in stupid situations.
Yeah, my state's constitutional carry as well, but I went and did the classes as another layer of protection. I'm sorry, Matt, I cut you off.
Well, no, I mean I would say like anyone who's going to get a gun, like I appreciate that. I think that they should. There are some people who like way into guns, and it's like I can believe in like the right to own a firearm, a personal private right to own a firearm, but also be like, you should not treat this like it's a toy. I think there are some people like they treat it like it's like a toy. It's like, no, this is
gun nuts tend
a deadly weapon that will kill you. But it's like you should treat this all points in time like it's almost like it's a venomous snake that can bite you at any moment. You need to treat it with great care. Not be so nervous you can't handle it because you can mess up.
Every gun is always loaded and treated that way.
The Simpsons episode is actually highly accurate to gun nuts, where like Homer's doing dumb shit and they're like, and even Cletus is like, "Are you a moron?" Because the thing people don't understand is like, well, why do you need so many guns? I'm like, it's not that you need so many guns; it's that you get a gun, and then the shooting range is so much fun. You get another gun, and then you're like, your friend has a gun, and you shoot it like, oh, that's fun. I want that one. And then they just have they usually stay in a dark place, and they just kind of reproduce.
Yeah, it's the rule is, I don't care how many times you've checked. You treat every gun like it's loaded. You keep your finger off the damn trigger. I mean, it's bad enough that like at conventions when I'm carrying a prop weapon, I carry it like this. Yes, I do not have my finger in.
Oh,
I'm not a gun guy. I don't profess to know a lot about guns, but the one thing I know is, and whenever I see like people, like they parade around with like guns, whatever like that, unless they're like
why is your finger in the
if their like finger is like this, and it's like, what are you doing?
Why is your finger in the trigger?
I know that it's like, if I'm carrying a gun, it's like that. My finger isn't anywhere near that trigger, even if I know like the safety's on.
No, that one secret.
Like,
remember when
3D printed? When I was carrying it as a prop, it was like this the entire time.
Remember when that guy tried to assassinate Trump, and that one Secret Service agent was just getting shit on the whole time? She fucking had her hand on the trigger. I'm like, you're gonna fucking blow his brains out, idiot. Like, get your hand off the trigger. Like, you should know better.
Yeah. Well, it's... How can I best...
Because that's always especially...
There's plenty of reasons to own different firearms. Sometimes it's just because, hey, I like target shooting with this one. Sometimes it's like, hey, this. I have a 20 gauge. You know what a 20 gauge shotgun's good for? Bird hunting. You know what a 12 gauge shotgun's good for? Everything else. It's.
That's why I have like so I have like a 22. It looks cool as fuck, but I have it. I got it because I'm like, oh, because this doesn't have a lot of kick. It doesn't beat the shit out of my hand. And the ammunition, like I can get like 500 like 22 pieces of ammo for like 50 rounds of 9mm.
And 9mm is the inexpensive one.
Yeah.
It is even just target shooting with 22 is still generally good practice for doing stuff. We are way far afield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to Gun Talk with the 4Corners podcast.
Yeah. Can I add
yes.
2 things? One, Vectron had a great comment where it's like he says he treats guns like the VX gas and the rock. It's like the minute you don't respect it, to respect this, it kills you. It's like, yeah, that to me, like that's the right attitude to have.
Yeah.
Always like maximum respect. But I mentioned this to you guys. It's ironic we're talking about guns, but I mentioned I saw like supercut clips. It's like clipped together. So when I watch it on like social media, like Twitter, it's only like a minute and a half. But there's I found this channel on YouTube called Yeet Life, I think it's what it's called, but it's a guy who he puts up various things with like a dummy behind it.
Okay.
And it's like where it's like I saw one today where it's like I set up 50 shovels, like metal shovels, like you get from Home Depot. Maybe it wasn't 50, it was 20, like who knows? I forget the exact number. But it's like he set them all up in a row, and behind it he put like the the dummy. It's like a crash test dummy, mannequin.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm gonna shoot different caliber weapons at the shovels and see how far they can go before they hit the dummy. And he would do it. He'd start off with like a 22, and then he goes all the way up to a 50 cal.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun to watch him shoot it. He shoots it from like a good distance away. Like all this is like safe.
Yeah.
Or as safe as you can be. But he's not being a clown about it. And it's fun to see because it's like, he as they progressively go, you see how it like shoots through more and more.
I don't like.
So I'm captivated by this dumb. I don't know. Maybe there's something like as a guy.
Well, it's seeing a progression.
I want to watch this guy like shoot through maybe can he shoot? One was like, can he shoot through 100 dinner plates to get the dummy? And it's like actually 100 like paper plates, like the paper plates you buy at the grocery store. A lot, though they actually can stop a lot.
Way more. They create a lot of drag.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
I hate 50 cals though. Those things are absolute bitches to shoot. Like it's like having like a thunderbolt in your hands. Magnums are the same way because the thing is when people are like, well, what gun should you get? It's like whatever you can safely shoot and hit what you're aiming at. Like don't go get a Desert Eagle because you're gonna.
No.
Oh, that's one of the guns that he has.
It's like
what are you? Yeah. That's in no ways a practical weapon.
No, a 9mm will stop someone, and you can probably safely shoot it.
If you want a practical, just home defense weapon, frankly, what I'm going to tell you is, and find someone who will let you try it and that sort of stuff. Try a pump action shotgun because a long weapon has more points of contact, easier to keep stable, easier to keep a hold of. And if you've got a problem, if 12 gauge is too much for you, then practice with 20 gauge. If that's too much for you, get it in 410, something like that. Because, here's the other reason is there's been 2 or 3 studies done that someone defending their home with a pump action shotgun is regarded less unfavorably than someone that has like an AR-15. They look at the general public looks at AR-15s and like, oh, that's that murder weapon thing. But if it's a pump action shotgun, they immediately think, oh, that must be a hunting gun. And in the study, the idea was the jury's more on your side if you were in the thing. But yes, learn about it, go practice with it. Back to the creepy ass fans being creepy.
Well, I wanted to give my recommendation for a home defense gun, but I would say a high point 9mm because it's cheap. I think you can get it for under $300. It also, the way it's designed, it's heavier than like a standard 9mm. And the first thing you're gonna think is, well, is that bad? It's like, no, that's actually good because it has less kick. So like if you're married and you have a wife, like there's a good chance she's gonna easily be able to handle it because that extra weight gives it less punch.
The the high point yeet cannon will look, if you're gonna get a high point, get a 995 carbine. It is a pistol caliber carbine.
And
they are a joy. They are well made.
And you're buying local from Ohio, and they are well made for the price. Like, they are probably the best quality gun for their price point.
They are ugly as hell.
Yeah, but
anyway,
but they're well made.
Back to creepy wrestling fans.
Yeah, so there was a couple incidents.
I think Vectron in the chat made a point that also wrestling is kind of a place where a lot of, maybe you guys said it, where the eccentrics might end up.
Yeah.
Theater kids who like physical stuff end up there a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, there were creepy fan things that happened.
So I guess we'll do the quick one. Like, so I guess Booker T said some fans tried to follow him to the bathroom at the Hall of Fame ceremony, which is just like, ew. The big one,
and apparently went in and were he's like, one of them started filming me, and it's like, first off, it's gross. But I mean, also, come on.
Have some, that is,
ew.
And then the other big one, so, it's the one that kind of got the most traction, is like, I'll just make it short. Like, there was a fan harassing AJ Lee, and obviously CM Punk had a very understandable problem with that, and it turned into a scene. And, that's kind of the one
was hot.
Oh, he should have.
I think, like, pushed the guy away, and the guy he had the balls to be like, "Whoa, having a bad day," and it's like, you're like accosting his wife.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not like, oh, like they're at the stadium, like no, it's like they clearly had, like, there's luggage with them. They were in, like, the hotel lobby, like at the elevator bank. And that was a criticism that I saw on social media that got reported. Like, we're going to talk about Mania. There's a lot of things that I feel like Mania, it's very, like, regrettable. And it's just evidence of TKO, like, just being, like, again, a soulless corporate entity that cares more about profits than even, like, their employees. But the criticism that was leveled is that they put the wrestlers in, like, basically one of the casino hotels.
MGM Grand.
Yeah. And it's like, but they didn't hire extra security for them.
Well, I think...
So you could have,
I think the issue is... I think the issue is they do that with the UFC fighters, but no one's going to fuck with even the female UFC fighters. So I think it's never been a problem before, but they've also had...
But those guys usually have, like, an entourage too. So.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they're also going. People aren't going to do that to UFC fighters because they will beat your ass, and you know it. So people tend to behave themselves.
True, but it's like, you could have rode the elevator with Booker T. You could have rode the elevator with, I don't know, like Rey Mysterio, somebody, like, or seen them, and you got to be cool about that. I mean, I have, in years past, like, the few WrestleManias I've went to, the first WrestleMania I went to, and really all of them, like, not like WWE wrestlers necessarily, but there were wrestlers there, like, and you could stay at the WrestleCon hotel, so you would run into them. And that was a thing, like, there in some of these shows that I went to, it was like wrestlers, a lot of indie wrestlers, but sometimes people who back in the day were in WWF, WWE, WCW even. Like, you could actually hang out with them, kinda. Like, there are guys that I know, like, they hung out with, like, drinks at the bar, and that was a good and bad. Like,
well, you had a story.
The first time I went, first time I went was also, like, I went to the Dallas Mania, which is like 31 maybe, I don't remember, and people were getting, like, Marty Jannetty, like, shit faced at the bar, and it's like, you don't.
Well, you told one from New Orleans where you were in an elevator with Teddy Hart, and some people wanted to ingratiate themselves, and they were like, "Hey, Teddy, we got some magical grass. You want to go smoke it with us?" And he was like,
"Oh, that was
you bet your ass."
Dallas. That was in Dallas. Like they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Teddy Hart." They were like, and he's like, he was like striking conversation, and he's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" It's like these two guys, and they were like early 20s, maybe like college age. He's like, "Hey, like, what are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna go up the rooftop, like smoke out." And he's like, "Oh, like, join?" They're like, "Yeah." Like,
He's
it's
like,
like, of course.
I've got to bury this hooker I killed in my hotel room, but I'll join you right after that.
Yeah.
Sadly, probably factually accurate. But
Yeah, that sounds.
Or
that
it's
was
like,
also.
or it's like, can the cat come? The cat needs to smoke a couple after he does his tricks.
That's how that cat stays so damn still during his matches.
just stoned.
The cat's stoned out of its gourd.
Dallas again is actually where I rode the elevator up with a couple of guys with Animal, of Hawk and Animal, Legion of Doom, Road Warriors, and he was like a cool guy. And the key is like, okay, you be a normal human being. Like I didn't pester him like, can I have your autograph? Can I have a selfie? Like I was like, walk in, it's like, oh God, that's Animal. He didn't even have face paint on, but it's like he's recognizable. He was a recognizable guy. And some guys of the thing were chatting with him, and he was polite, and they weren't like rude or anything. It was just like, "Whoa, Animal! Like, good to see you! Like, man, big fan." And he like chatted briefly in like the 2-3 minute elevator ride. He was a nice guy, but be normal. Now you don't get that.
Yeah, like Jim Duggan's like really approachable if you see him in Economy. He's kind of marching around like you would. He's very Jim Duggan in real life.
Yeah.
There was an instance where I was taking a flight and I'm sitting at the boarding gate waiting, and I'm just kind of kicked back. And I see this guy over there, and I'm like, I think I know who that is. And I'm like, I wonder where I know him from. And I lean my head, and I'm like, where do I know him from? And then I realized it's like, oh, that's Simon Gotch. And then he looked over and he made eye contact with me, and he saw this moment where he's like, oh God, he recognized me. Oh shit. And I was just sitting there. I was like, don't make this weird. And I just went, and he just kind of looks at me and he kind of nods back, and I laid my head back because I was like, don't be that guy. Just don't be that. Don't be the guy who's like, oh, that guy. There's this guy that ruined my day. Don't be that guy.
I have, this is back to when I traveled, but I have ACH's me in my 3DS because I somehow came close to him in an airport. So we straight passed each other. So I have his me in there. I also have the guy that made Fez. I have his me for some reason. I came close to him in some event or something.
So it's the video of the event, this particular one, like you said, it was in the MGM Grand, and the elevators in the MGM Grand are at the back end of the stadium. I went digging into this because I was like, okay,
getting logistical
how
information.
god awful. Like my question was, how god awful was this? Because I was like, is there any modicum of maybe they handled something right here? By the way, no. Last year they stayed at Fontainebleau, which has its own security. Like they would have set that up. MGM Grand, they don't set that up. So the elevators and stuff are at the back end of the casino, which is open to the public. There's nothing. There is nothing to inhibit people being there, doing anything, hopping on the elevators, going to different floors or anything like that. And the video that I have seen starts whenever Bailey comes up and puts her arms around AJ Lee and like shoves the camera away. Where this guy, because apparently this guy came up and put his arms around her and was like recording him being next to her, and she's like, no, get away from me, get off me, and wouldn't do it until Bailey comes and like shoves him away and like puts her arm around AJ and is walking her away, and the guy's still, and Punk comes up and slaps the phone out of his hand, spikes it on the floor. And then, the guy gets pissy, and I'm like, dude, like, okay, there are some people who have taken the opinion that's like, that wasn't the right way to handle it. You know what? Probably not. But guess what? I totally get it.
I think the problem is with criticizing Punk in that situation is the way he grabbed her, like, escalates it really high.
Yeah.
Like because that's gonna because like if that had happened to like my wife, like they probably would have gotten punched in the face versus other like situations because like that really like that's an escalation. Like if he had maybe like grabbed her arm, which I still think he'd be justified, or if he was just being kind of an asshole, but I think he would have handled those situations differently. Like Punk's not, and the thing is, I mean, Punk isn't great with fans to begin with, but I also think the he's going to respond proportionally to how that guy behaves, and he went straight to a super aggressive thing, which is going to get an aggressive response to. And I mean, I don't think he like punched him or anything. Like he kind of just. And the thing is, like, if it was me, like, I'm not like there's situations where I might just like kind of shoo the guy away and be like, hey, like, get out of here. But then there's other situations where it's just like, no, you've got to learn your lesson or pay a bit of a price for this.
Yeah, there's
look, you have no right to put your hands, even if it's just like touching like the back of the hand or something. It's like, don't put your hands. Like you have no. They're not your friend. They're not your relative. No. You don't know these people. Like you have no business putting your hands on someone. Look, we have said a lot on the show. I've said a lot on the show about Punk. Punk has had 2 very notable incidents of him putting his hands on people that he should not have done that. Yeah. This is not one of those situations where I'm like, oh, Punk acted like carelessly. It's like, look, I know the person you're referring to, Shad.
Yeah.
Who had thought that Punk didn't handle it well. It's like I actually respect that person's opinion on a lot of things. I disagree with that. I feel like that's almost
he's wrong.
Like I think that he's coming from a place where he really doesn't like Punk, and I get that. I don't like Punk. But this is one of the situations where it's like I will not at any point find fault with Punk for him. Like if anything, Punk was restrained.
Yeah.
Like if I saw a dude like he probably did restrain himself because it would not look good if
cold cocking a fan.
Mania, he's just like pull up punching a fan.
I wouldn't have had.
He was within his rights too.
I wouldn't have had a problem with that. I think what that guy needs to realize though, and you see this a lot in politics, is when you're unfair, you lose credibility. Like when someone like with the other side, like they just criticize everything they do, even if they do something that they tend to agree with. But they twist themselves into like a pretzel to have like a problem with it. It's like, well, I don't really take you seriously because you won't give them credit for anything. And like with the Punk thing, it's like, yeah, I don't like him and I think he's a douche, but it's also like I have to be fair to him too. And like in this situation, like I don't care that I don't like him. Like that guy was way out of line. And like there's no world where Punk was.
I think Punk is many things, he has many negative character traits, but at the end of the day, he is still a man who cares about, his wife at least, and he's gonna come like to her defense, and he should. Yeah. So I'm not gonna like fault him in any way.
It's like but you could have had a knife. It's like the Emeru thing that happened at TwitchCon, where that guy like accosted her, and like security didn't do anything about it. It's like that is a very dangerous situation because like you don't know what if he's got like some weapon on him or something. Like it's messed up.
There's a layer to this that when I read that whole about how they didn't have security, I was flabbergasted, and that was before this incident.
Yeah.
Before that, I heard that on Saturday. That and it's like that's not. I don't take that to be like people who were there, fans who were there, contacting the dirt sheets. Being like, oh man, we saw a bunch of wrestlers at like in the hotel. They had to come like use the elevators like the rest of us. I think they probably were getting leaked information from wrestlers who were like, I'm not happy about this.
Well, Alvarez and Meltzer were there. They might have seen it. Like a lot of the dirt sheet guys, they might have been in an elevator with one of them.
They could have, but okay. I saw this Saturday, right? And this is before this incident, and it like flabbergasted me because I read on social media on Twitter an interview that Liv gave. I feel like it was published or aired certainly like Mania week, maybe like a day or two before, where she was talking about how like yeah, like we like especially the female wrestlers in the WWE have had issues with stalkers, and in fact that she had had a stalker that she had to report to the FBI.
Yeah.
And they had to sort through and like get like basically get the guy, and like, you know, they're sorting all that out.
Yeah.
And she's clearly not the first. There are other people who've had issues with stalkers.
Asuka.
I mean, there was the guy who a while back, but there was also a guy a while back, remember, who was there planning to kidnap Sonya Deville, like showed up at her like place with like rope and things to tie her up with.
Duct tape.
Like and she had like that guy had to get prosecuted. And there are people who showed up at NXT, like stalkers who like showed up outside like the training facility. They have issues. They've had issues over the years with that. What the fuck are you doing where you don't pay extra money to have like security?
Oh well, that's the thing.
And
it's TKO. They don't pay extra money for jack shit. They didn't set out catering for the Hall of Fame ceremony. Like, they don't pay for a damn thing they think they can get away with.
Kevin Nash was complaining about that. There wasn't any food for the boys, and it's like, I guess this is where like the petty, you know, hater side of me comes out, where it's like, you know what, Kevin Nash, fuck you. This is what you get. You twerk for the WWE any chance you get, because you know it's like, I better keep on their good graces. That's more money in my pocket than to even bother. Like, he didn't show up. Remember, like he didn't show up for like Sting's match. He got invited, and there are other people there, like Lex Luger or whatever. Like he's like, well, you know, I get a Legends contract, like you can't show up. And it's like, you could show up.
I give
like,
him.
You could be there and just not be on camera.
I give him a pass.
Yeah, he didn't do it. He didn't do it because like he knew if he did, he would probably get heat with like Hunter.
I give him a pass.
And he did it. He twerks for them all the time. So I'm like, yeah, the least you can do is like, I don't give a shit if you didn't get food. Fuck you.
Yeah,
like,
but he's
boo hoo.
Thing with Nash is I give him a pass. Like, he's obviously like a broken person now. Like,
with losing his
like
son.
Because he's been.
I can have compassion for that.
But like he's
compassion for that, and also not care that he's like.
He's like unlistenable because he's like high 24/7. So like he like his podcast like isn't even good anymore because he can't like coherently speak anymore. But like I tend to, but like I mean I feel like though, like they're gonna have you there for like 6 or 7 hours. Yeah. The least they can do is like give you a sandwich or order a pizza.
I am blown away by the fact that for as much as they talk about record profits. Okay, you know what? I need to rephrase. On one hand, I'm blown away by the fact that this company that crows about record profits and record-breaking gates and all that sort of stuff is so lackadaisical and treats the people that are responsible for making their money like crap. And then on the other hand, it's TKO. This doesn't surprise me at all.
The thing is, though, like to cater that event, you would not even notice. You would not even notice that in your...
Oh, but we can't put $5,000 down for a spread for catering for this.
Oh, I don't even think it would cost
$5,000 we'd have to spend.
That wouldn't even cost $5,000. I don't think that'd be like $2 or $3 grand.
Vegas, for God's sake. Well, okay, Vegas doesn't even have any expensive stuff anymore because guess what? Venture capitalism bought all those up too, and they're like, "Well, we got to raise. What are you doing? Why do you have low prices on your hotel rooms?"
Private equity.
But like I mean that you wouldn't even notice that on the spreadsheet. And there's like, I mean, I work for a very large corporation, and there's stuff they spend money on for us all the time because like happy workers are productive workers.
Yeah. And they're not going to be looking to leave all the damn time either.
And that's actually weird that like, because that's like TKO's philosophy. But if you're like in corporate America, like that is much more become like the last decade is like becoming like more worker, like pro worker, like, oh yeah, like we're gonna get away with we're gonna lighten up the dress codes because you guys don't like it. We're gonna give you more time off. We're gonna do all this other stuff for you because we recognize that you're gonna be more productive if you're happy and we're taking care of you.
Well,
so like
for some of them it is, and then for others it's fuck you, get back to work.
Well, that's becoming less common in like bigger companies because like if you do that now, it's become so commonplace in other companies that you have to adapt because you'll lose it. The companies that do that will just come and pick your bones dry of talent. So you eventually have to do it, even if you don't want to.
I am. What's the phrase I'm looking for? I am so jaded with the concept at this point that I have a hard time. I know they exist, but I have a hard time buying in on them. It's like, no, this can't be. You heard, like, you need to. Someone who actually works there has to tell me this directly, kind of stuff, because I'm just so damn sick of this. Get back to work, whatever. Get back. No, I'm not approving that. Get back. It's like I'm so sick of it. It pisses me off so bad.
It is different from the time I've been there. Like I said, it's lightened up a lot. But I mean, not every company is going to be that way, but it is more commonplace now because, like I said, it's become a competitive advantage to be more.
Yeah, to take care of your employees. Shocking, I know.
But yeah, it's stupid. But I don't. There's been some other incidences too, like on indie shows and stuff over the years, but I don't know why fans can't be normal.
Yeah,
Have you?
Because like, if I go to a con and I meet like the female talent, like I don't touch them. I don't even get within a foot of them. If we take the picture, I just pick my spot and stand near them. And like, there's been pictures like I have a picture with Gail Kim and she's leaning on me. She chose to do that. She did it of her own volition. There's other ones where
just for sake, I bear witness to that. That's what happened.
There's other ones, even with like the guys where like they put their arm around me or something. I do not initiate any of that. I am fine just standing next to you and smiling and get a picture. Like they can do whatever the fuck they want, but I'm not doing any of that creepy shit. And actually, I think they're more likely to do something like that when you don't manhandle them, when you come up to them.
Normal.
Yeah.
Like I'm the same way where like I don't. If the rare instances where I will like take a photo or do an autograph or something like that, signing with like a celebrity, I won't be like, here, I'm 10 feet over here. Like, no, I'll be close to them, but I'm not going to initiate touching them, except maybe in certain scenes, like, a handshake, like, let me shake your hand.
That's fine.
I wouldn't do that. And like, if they like want to like get close, like, for the photo, then I laughed a minute ago because you're like, there might be seen that movie that a viral meme. The mom early on in the movie, the kid's like kind of off, and the mom's like screaming at the kid in the back seat. She's like, "Why can't you be normal?" And the kid, you see the kid just writhing, and he goes, "Ah!" Like, he's like screaming like a maniac.
Oh, is that
that's a psych wrestling? Why can't you be normal? Like,
is that the Babadook?
Yeah.
That's for
the mom was if the mom had murdered that child and threw him in a dumpster, I would have been like, okay, I can understand why you did that.
Well, if you see the Babadook, that's a flop.
Yeah, that kid was terrible. So she was not in the wrong. But yeah, I don't get the people that do that. Like I said, I'll stand next to them, but like I kind of let them decide what they're gonna do because like I don't want to be a weirdo.
No, I don't want to make them uncomfortable. And okay, this is nowhere near the same thing. All right, I'm not going to try and equate it, but shows I worked at where I was a baby face, it's like, okay, at intermission you're expected to go out and mingle and sign, right? And it is you go out there, you mingle, you sign, and you know what? There are some cases where there's that one person who keeps talking at you and keeps talking at you and will not move on, and you're just like, okay. And if I was not who I am, I'm sure that it could have been even weirder. And so I cannot begin to imagine what these women are having to put up with. And it's go ahead.
I'm just reading this report that Sean Rassap posted, I guess like a little over an hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he says a number of WWE talent told myself, so they told him and Fightful, that they opted to stay at other hotels or even Airbnbs in order to avoid the fans. Like, and like TKO didn't pay that.
Yeah.
No.
They probably paid that out of their own pockets.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
And even I went to a Chikara show once, and I don't think he was signing anything, but Hello Wicked was just kind of standing there, and I don't remember what he was doing, but like I wanted to take a picture of him because he looked cool as fuck, and I even like walked up to him and I kind of quietly said, because his gimmick was he didn't talk, so I was kind of being respectful. I just said, "Hey man, do you mind if I take a picture of you?" And he was like, "Sure, buddy, go for it." Yeah. Like just to take a picture of him, and he probably wouldn't have given a fuck if I had done it, but I even just said like, "Hey, can I take a picture?"
Okay, so here, this is a better analog. I do costuming at conventions, and if you go up to somebody and ask them, "Hey, can I take a picture of you?" they're not going to have a problem. No one shows up with a costume at a convention and expects no one to take a picture of them. Doesn't happen. But when you get the creepers that roll up, and it's roll up, especially on some of the women, so I had 2017 maybe, one of the members of my group, she comes up and she was, how do I best put this, she had a Red Sonja costume that she was rocking. Okay, she came over to the table and she said to me, she's like, "You please run interference. There's this guy who's," and I said, "Yeah, doesn't matter what." I'm like, "You just let me know who it is." And she's like, "He walked up to me and he put his hand on my ass, and when I said, move that, he said no." And so she came straight over to the table, and we're sitting there and we're talking, and he comes walking up. She goes, "That's the guy." And I turned and I made eye contact with him, and I just held it, right? I just held eye contact because I'm like, I know who, I don't say anything, but I just hold eye contact with him, and he's looking at me and he keeps walking, and then he sees I don't break eye contact. I've got him clocked, and he starts going the other direction, and I was just like, okay, God, what? When she told me that, I was like, what the hell? She goes, "I know." I'm like, oh my God, okay, like this. It's not restricted just to wrestling, but man, we've got a great high-profile example of this shit happening. And the thing that pisses me off the most about it, because you're going to have weirdos in any fandom.
Yeah.
The thing that pisses me off the most about it is the fact that TKO didn't do a damn thing about it. They didn't do a damn thing. Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, he said pretty much he pretty much just said like, "I'm fine to take a picture with you and stuff. Like if we're at an autograph session, like, hey, bring it all up." He even said like with the stuff outside the autograph session, he's like if you just, he pretty much, it was like outside, he's like, "Yeah, if you want to ask for my picture or like an autograph, just be cool about it. Don't like throw your kids in front of me. Don't, you got it."
I'll read it right here. "For those fans who spent money on a chance to say hello, take a photo, have something signed, give me one of many, many bracelets, I appreciate each and every one of you. To those of you who rushed my family and I in the hotel, kept your kids up till 2 a.m. throwing them in front of us, or shoved a camera in my face without asking, you're lucky I'm a calm-natured person outside the ring. Don't ever do that again." what kind of entitled behavior is this? This is so like what kind of lack of consideration for other people do you have to think that this is acceptable behavior? I am at a complete and total loss for it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So, you had
like
they
I think
had
even
the opportunity to do this right. TKO had the opportunity to do this right, and they didn't want to spend money on it. That's what
I would generally say like a lot of the rules are pretty well known. Like the one time I would not like approach a wrestler is if they are with their family. Like I just wouldn't like might nod at them. Like if Drew was standing there in the hotel by himself, I might like walk over and be like, hey, like I'm a big fan. Like just wanted to say it, or like I might ask for a picture, but I might be like, hey, I know it's totally cool, like that this could be a problem. So if you say no, I don't care. But well, there's actually an interesting because noted racist Anthony Camilla has been asked this a couple times about like fans wanting to take pictures and stuff, and he said like he's like, look, I just do it because it's easier just to take the picture than the problem it's going to be if you say no. And he's like, I usually am fine with people coming up to me, like I appreciate their fans. He's like, but it's just like his opinion is just like, yeah, it's just easier to take a picture and just get it over with because it'll be less of a problem.
I was about. Sorry to cut you off, Chad. I was about to make the joke, Brad, that you see Drew in the like the lobby, like, hey, can I take a photo? And then a member of TKO rushes up and like slaps your phone away, and it's like that'll be $8,000 if you want a photo op with Drew.
Yeah.
Did you see the shit they're pulling on that drive with Cody thing? Where if you take the lesser deal, you don't even get the refund of the difference.
You didn't get a refund of the difference.
Like we'll talk about Mania in like a few minutes, but
well, we can talk. We can
like Cody.
We could transfer.
Cody. Well, we can segue into that, but Cody like did legit in the main event get his like eye like badly.
Oh, it's bad.
Busted up, maybe like an orbital fracture or something. It's bad. It's bad.
Well, Meltzer said it was serious because my first thought was, oh God, I hope this isn't like something like he has permanent like repercussions from, because like I don't know, it was real bad.
You can get it like a detached retina.
Like I've seen.
You can lose vision in your eye.
I've seen like MMA fighters get the shit kicked out of them in the face before, and they haven't. Well, he had a boot on. I think that might be the difference. But I've never seen an MMA fighter get his face busted up like that before.
Yeah.
Like it was bad. I don't know how I don't know what happened there, but it's not good. And I'm gonna say he's probably gonna be gone for a while. Which is kind of funny. After Triple H made his dumb statement last week, he kind of like did some bad hoodoo there and got Cody injured when he's like, oh, we can't replace Cody. Like, well, you got to try now, because unless he tries to do the face mask thing, but I think that damage is so much that he couldn't even do like the mask.
I think he showed up on Raw with a tremendous black eye.
Oh yeah, it was, yeah.
But it's oh God, yeah.
So I guess night 2 seemed to be better received than night 1, but even night 2, I feel like people were restrained in their praise, other than some people that were overcompensating. Like so I guess both shows were 4-ish hours. Night 1 had like about an hour and a half of wrestling, and night 2 had about an hour and 20. Then there was a little over an hour on both shows of just commercials, just ads. And then the between stuff. Because I think there was someone that even did a post, I wish I would have saved it so I could read. He notated the time between each match.
Yeah.
From bell to bell. And I think some of them were getting close to like 40 minutes.
God.
Because like I think it's fine. Like it's not to my preference, but I think TV's fine. Like if you have like maybe like half to 60% of the show being wrestling, I think it's fine to have less on TV because you do have to set up angles and you are selling like the bigger shows. But like, man, pay-per-views, you have to have it in like at least 70 to 75% of wrestling because that's the point. And I would say Mania has to be even more.
Yeah, and I want to point out something. They changed the model with this ESPN deal for the pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Like at a minimum, you need to pay like $30 for the ESPN, like the app, like whatever. So it's no longer like the days of the WWE Network or the Peacock where it's like I paid $10 and I watch like all the WWE pay-per-views. Like, so if I want to watch Mania, I'm already on the hook for like $30, okay?
Yeah.
And sure, maybe that's less than like paying $50 for an AEW pay-per-view, but for an AEW pay-per-view, I'm going to get a ton of wrestling to the point where people are complaining like, oh, it's too long. I was telling you guys with Dynasty, I'm like, the main event should not go on at like 11:30 at night on a Sunday. Like, no, they should.
That's been my bitch with AEW for a long time. Is their pay-per-views are too
and
damn
he
long.
will do between like the buy-ins that they do that is free on YouTube and through like the show. You're looking at like 4 or 5 hour pay-per-views. But if I'm getting, and it's a ton of wrestling, and it is exceptional quality wrestling. So I'm getting a lot of wrestling content of high quality for the $50 that I'm paying for a pay-per-view if I go AEW. If I'm paying $30, so I'm paying already 60% of that $50 price. I'm already paying like 60% of that. Why am I doing it when even like your biggest show of the year, it's like over half ads?
And they weren't doing video packages.
Bullshit like that.
They weren't doing video packages either to hype the matches. So not only were you getting a ton of ads, you weren't even getting like, okay, we're going to the next match. Here's like a 2 or 3 minute video package to kind of get the feud up. You up to speed on the feud. And you know why they were doing that? Because most of these were just thrown together matches.
They were. There was poorly booked Mania. All I know is the timeline on Twitter, on social media. Night 1 was ripped to shreds. And I don't mean like by people like me who doesn't really like the WWE. Like I wasn't, one of the ones doing it. Like people who were watching it.
Like hardcore
WWE fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were like shitting on it. And they were approaching it from the aspect of like, hey, I'm a big fan. It's like, you're not giving me anything. Like most of the matches, especially on night 1, predominantly on night 1, were like, oh, you build up a match, and it's like, oh, here's your 7-minute match. It's like
the Liv Stephanie Vaclair match was like 6 minutes and like 42 seconds or something like that.
Yeah. And it's like, it's fine to have like a 7-minute match if I'm going back to like the late 80s and it's like, oh, let's have, Junkyard Dog versus Greg the Hammer Valentine. It's like, okay, yeah, like whatever, like 7-minute match.
Yeah, but that was different in that day though, because like wrestling was just different. Like they hadn't quite figured pay-per-view out at that point and stuff. So like,
I know. But okay, maybe years later, it's like a 7-minute match between like,
Takamichi Noku and Brian Christopher in the Attitude Era or something.
Well, I mean that'd be probably a decent match. I'm saying like Big Boss Man versus like Al Snow. It's like, all right, well, I don't need more than 7 minutes of this.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. And then like the main event, like I think Vince Russo wouldn't even have made it that bad. Like the main event makes no sense.
It was an overbooked nonsense match that was completely nonsensical.
Yeah. There's no internal consistency. You've got people bouncing forth between playing heel and face, and I don't just mean playing heel and face.
You had heel ref Pat McAfee doing fair counts for starters.
Yeah.
The way they ended it, like, so is Randy now a face and Cody is a heel because that's what people wanted from the start and you went out of your way to not do. So why did you turn them at Mania?
Oh, I told you, like, last week I listed like 12 things that a person said. I mean, not that I subscribe to that, but a person listed like 12 different things where it's like, these are all the things they did for you to boo Randy Orton and Pat McAfee instead of Cody because that's what people wanted to do. And and that's a whole separate discussion, which I'm not going to go into, but it's like, yeah, you probably should turn Cody heel because people are now, I would say, done and tired of the Cody, like, aw shucks, like, I'm, superhero babyface.
They need
Like, that's
progression.
over.
They need progression if he's gonna stay
Well,
face.
that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the argument I've actually made online with people, is that he's not. Like, Cody, Meltzer can put him in the Hall of Fame. He can talk about, like, oh, he's got great merch sales, and it's like, does he, or has the company been hot? So he, as one of the faces of the company, like, he's got good merch sales. Like,
there's good empirical evidence that Cody was a big driving factor of them getting hot. So, like, I don't know how I feel about Cody, the Hall of Famer. Like, I think that's going to need to settle, and I need to look at the objective criteria for the Hall of Fame, because there are certain questions you have to answer. I should get that one day for the show. It's like, were they ever like the best wrestler in the world? Were they, were they a draw? So I think Cody would probably get in. I don't know if personally I'd put him in. Like, I would think he would be bubble-ish at worst.
That's a whole separate discussion, but
yeah.
I mean,
if Kurt Angle's in, then I think Cody deserves to be in. Like,
I personally,
and if Triple H is in, Cody should be in, because he's.
I personally feel, even if you say, like, oh, well, Cody was a driving force, it's like, but Cody has one character.
Yeah, but I mean, because he has one character doesn't mean that character didn't work for a while. Like,
no, that's fair. Like, it can work, but that character has a time limit, and I think we're at the time limit.
Yeah.
And the problem with Cody is, I actually don't think he's remotely good as a character, as a wrestler, as, any of this to actually shift, except if he were perhaps turn heel, which he apparently doesn't want to do. But I don't think he's a good enough face that once, like, the luster's worn over, it's a tired gimmick, it's a tired act.
I think there's ego there too.
I don't think I will be as brutal as possible. I don't think he's good enough that I don't think he's intelligent enough. I don't think he's a talented enough talker, worker, whatever, that he can shift. Maybe if he turns heel, because that actually can paper a lot of things.
Well, yeah.
But I don't think he can change to a different type of character. Even Austin, and now Austin, like, is a bad example in some ways, because he's one of the best workers of the last 30, 40 years. But even Austin, like, at points when he was, like, face, like, he could play tweener, he could, like, add different elements to being a face. Like, he could actually do things a little differently, even though a lot of it was the same. I don't think Cody is that skilled.
I think
people are tired of it.
I think he could, but the problem is, like, I think he does have that skill, because his character has changed over time, and I think he did do a good job building this character initially. But I think the problem is his ego's getting in the way, because this is, like, how he wants to be perceived. So that's why he's so, like, against, like, evolving, because this is the Cody, like, this is what he wants people to think of him as, like, the way he dresses, all this stuff, so he's very, he's worked himself into a shoot in a lot of ways. So, like, he's very personally invested in this character. It's kind of like he's become, like, I know you call him a politician all the time, but he's actually fallen into the trap of being, like, an actual politician. And so now, like, he doesn't want to change, because, like, that would be changing people's perceptions of him.
But that's why I talked about last week, where Pat McAfee cut a promo, and it's like, it's one of those situations where, like, a guy cuts a promo, and it's a devastating promo that if people actually their fans, like, will ignore it, but if they actually stop to think, and it's like, it is as brutal, and it should, like, end Cody. That promo should have ended Cody, because it's basically Pat put voice to what is actually the case, where it's like, you're fake, like, you're disingenuous. You come out here, present an image, you even like the stupid suit that you're wearing, you wear it because, like, Ric Flair wore it back in the day. So all you're doing is just playing, like, a cosplay of what you think is, like, the big champion needs to look and act like. And it's like, that should have ended Cody right there. Their fans won't care about that. So this will continue. But that's what I say. Like, it is this image, and it's like, he is like, oh, this is how it, like, no, like, it's over. In my opinion, it's like, people are tired of it.
I think he could have actually survived.
He still has the title. I don't see it long term going well. I don't.
I think he could have survived that Pat McAfee promo. I was actually thinking about how you could have made that work. And I think if they would have repurposed, like, you remember when he did that promo with Jericho in early AEW, like that, there's no invisible line here.
That I liked.
And I think if he had responded to Pat McAfee doing that and then climbed in the ring and beat his ass, he would have survived it. But they made him look like a bitch instead, because they always make their faces look like bitches.
They make their faces look like chumps.
Yeah.
But
like the thing is, I don't think, like, I think you're right, but like I think the follow-up is what caused what you're saying, not like the actual promo itself, because like if they had actually let him be proactive and like, you know, beat him up, it would have made him, it would have negated a lot of it, because it'd be like, oh, you think I'm a fake? Well, I'm going to choose violence then. And it would have,
let's see how fake this is. Bow.
Yeah.
And you hit him with the microphone and you get that big sound with it.
Yeah.
And that's a great exclamation point. But
I do think he's skilled enough to change. I just think he won't, because he's too invested in what he's doing. And I mean, I guess we could, if we want to really parse words and like be pedantic about it, which we can. That's what we're here for. We're here to be minutia driven idiots.
Pedantic.
Yeah, but you could argue that his ego and unwillingness to do it because of how invested his image is does mean he's not capable of doing it. Like, it could, you can bring it back to being a skill issue.
He's trying to live his gimmick too much.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to change anything. And he has gotten to the point where he brought living his gimmick into everything he portrays, like you said.
I think it would take...
And I think about the difference between that and John Cena stuff. Like, John Cena at a show was in gimmick, right? Or when he's doing Make-A-Wish stuff, because that's what the kids want to see. John Cena any other time, he's wearing a suit, he's being respectable, he's being charming, respectable, I'm sorry. He's wearing a suit, he's being charming, there was a different portrayal that way. And
I guess
it's like Cody wants to butter both sides of his bread and have people congratulate him for it.
Nicole Byers has some interesting stories about working with him on whatever show they did together.
Peacemaker?
No, it was a game show. It was like an obstacle course game show. But she said, like, they were talking about something, and she was kind of like trying to say, like, oh, I hate it when they do the nailed it thing. Like, do you get tired when people do, oh, I can't see you? He's like, no, like, that's just people trying to connect with you. And she'd say, like, people run the course, like, I did this just because I want to see you, John Cena. He's like, I'll meet you, and this would just be off camera. And he'd just get up and go down there and, like, hug them and talk to them. And he didn't have to do any of that. And she just said he's, like, the nicest human being ever.
There's which goes towards Matt's point about the phoniness, I guess. I feel like how else to put it, but
I feel like for Cody to meaningfully change his gimmick or have the want to do it, I think Brandy's gonna have to like say something to him to get through to him. I think everyone around him could say something. I think Brandy could say, like, this is getting kind of lame, and I think he would actually consider changing.
I mean, I appreciate having a relationship where you listen and value to what your partner says on something like that, but I would like to think that if you're going to be in that particular business, there's other people that you should also take their feedback on.
We need Scott Hall. We need Scott Hall alive to fix this, honestly.
Oh God. Yeah. Scott Hall as a... You know what? Scott Hall is the next generation Dusty Rhodes, I think, could have been majorly transformative for a lot of people.
That's one area where I still appreciate Kevin Nash and Scott Hall as like people is the one thing they will always do, and it's not something I think a lot of people do. In any shoot interview, when they talk about WCW, they always talk Ray up massively for doing the lawn dart into the trailer thing. Like they both talk him up about how awesome that was. Because I guess they were worried about doing it. Like, are you sure you want to do this? He's like, yeah, do it. This is gonna be awesome. And they've always appreciated him for that. And I think like Triple H wouldn't do that. Like Triple H tries to minimize what Foley did for him. Like I always respect guys that are like, oh yeah, this guy like totally like did me a solid. Like I even hate Bubba Ray Dudley, but that is one thing like he and Devon have always done is they talk up about how much Mae Young did for them. And like the respect they always show her for that.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, she would have threatened to kick their ass if they didn't say something nice. Because I think they said like Bubba didn't want to do it, and she like smacked him as like, "Don't be a bitch."
Oh, the power bomb through the table.
Yeah, like I think she was like, "Don't." But it was her and Moolah did like a tag match around that time, and that she was probably in her like mid-70s. She was doing like bumps off the apron, like she was doing like crazy shit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that it was a lady that gave no fucks about anything.
I think it was I can't remember who it was, but somebody was like, can you give me a list of toughest people in wrestling? And one of them they listed was Mae Young. It's like, you don't understand.
Yeah, she was a character, that's for sure. But the night 2 seemed to go better. Roman won the title. I don't even know what you do with Roman at this point.
Roman won the title that was created so someone else could hold the title.
I think Meltzer said Gunther was he and Gunther are gonna work together probably at like SummerSlam or something. So I guess that kind of makes sense, but only if Gunther wins, and I could see them having Roman wins because that's the sort of shit they do.
That's my problem. You want to work this program and put Gunther over? Okay, cool. Sure. You know what? That's different. That's something that. But my problem is that I don't trust it.
And I don't like that they did that match with Seth Rollins, that pay-per-view, because they have a really bad habit, especially in the Triple H era, of taking two guys that absolutely cannot lose and putting them against each other on a big show like this.
Yeah.
And that was absolutely the fact, because Seth Rollins obviously lost. And I really think that was bad, because now he's going into the Braun Breaker feud, and he's ice cold because you've dropped him.
Yeah. I just in general about a night 2. I said earlier in the day on Sunday before night 2 aired, because like again, night 1 got trashed, just relentlessly trashed.
Yeah.
I said, like, watch what's gonna happen, and I'm not patting myself on the back. It's like, oh, I'm so smart. What a brilliant prognosticator I am. I just I know
they're predictable.
I know they're predictable, but I also know the stupid fan base they have and the grifters online. Like, I know I predicted like this is what's gonna happen. They're gonna do probably something with Brock and Obafemi, which they did. I thought it would just be like Oba maybe will come out and squash him like a bug in like a minute, and that'd be like, oh,
it's about 4 minutes and 50 seconds, I think.
Yeah, but the big thing after that, like Obafemi like won, but it's like, oh, it's not about him. It's like, oh, Brock Lesnar retired. So then it was all like, thank you, Brock. How great Brock is, and it's like the sex. Like I feel like the dude who was on the Conan O'Brien show. It was like have you guys seen that clip? God, what's the? He's comedian like Jim something, I think. But he was on. It's become a viral meme. But he was on Conan's like podcast. And he's like, I think some people in our society like have been like kind of they've gotten unfairly like criticized. And they're like, who are you talking about? And he's like, I don't know, guys. I don't know, like maybe like Jeffrey Epstein. And everyone just like laughs. And he's like, well, no, I'm not talking about Jeffrey Epstein, the New York financier. It's like, he's known for other things. It became like that, where it's like, oh, Brock Lesnar, like the sex trafficker, Brock Lesnar, like yeah, that guy. But I predicted like they're gonna do something with Brock, and they're gonna do some bullshit with the final match, the main event, which I thought it'd just be like, oh, there's gonna just do more bloodline shit.
I feel like
what they did was like they just had a good match. So
I feel like getting a win over Brock really doesn't mean anything in this day and age. Like it might have a couple years ago, but it's just like I mean I know their fan base is not me, but like to me it's just like Brock, like I was sick of seeing him like 5 years ago.
it doesn't mean what it should mean, but if they had made Oba lost,
Yeah, that would have
lose to
been
him,
bad.
like it would have been really bad.
And
But
I guess I'm just cynical with them because they have a way of making like wins that should mean something not mean anything.
oh, look, he had him beat Brock. What are you gonna do with him? Because you have Cody and Roman holding the titles, and it's like, are you gonna put him over either one of them? Like, you should, honestly. But when is that gonna happen? Like 6 months from now? Like a year from now? I don't know. But
How old is he?
I
How old is he? Because he's got to be
think
he's got to be
Oba
40
Femi?
to be in his prime to win a title.
Oh, he's got a lot of years left.
Yeah.
I predicted though, I'm like, watch, they're gonna do some bullshit with these two matches, and then even though everything else with Mania is gonna like suck and be dog shit, that there are people gonna be like, oh, great Mania. They're gonna say it's all worthwhile because it's like these two matches, and lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. Like people are like, oh,
Yeah.
it's a good Mania. Now that's like people who are like brainwashed. They're looking for anything to like, to like about the show.
Yeah.
You're like real, like even your really bad grifters like Julian Weeks, Alfred Kanua, whatever, like that clown. They are like, oh, both nights were like 10-10. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like we know that they weren't.
I don't get how those guys think that's like good for the grift because you gotta relent sometimes. I think night 2 had like a 6 something on Cage Match when I saw it, so I think like that's I would say slightly above average for a show, but I feel like for Mania you don't want like above average. Like I feel like
you want something much better, but
yeah,
dude, a 6, even if it's like, well, it's close to a 7. It's like it's Mania.
Yeah.
And that was
So
the better
what?
night. That was a better night. Like and like if like your average Raw or SmackDown, it's like a 6 or 7. It's like, that's like whatever. That's like a basic like Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, you should be aiming for a 7.
I wouldn't blink an eye. I'd be like, whatever. It's like a TV show, like throwaway TV show.
Yeah, and you
whatever.
can't like, and the thing with that too is like,
it's Mania.
You can't.
Though.
Well, the thing with TVs though, you can't hit it. You can't. Not every week's going to be the home run. So, and there's some weeks where you have to be like. So, like, I understand with TV's, whatever.
But lo and behold, like that, people were like, "Oh, it's great," and it's like it's bullshit, and people are. I feel a lot of it is like it was bad Mania, and that's the criticism from night 1, and it's like, don't act like night 2 was really that different. It wasn't. You just had it all boils down to you had a good main event that people received well.
But that does a good main event does paper over the rest of the show sucking because you went out strong. So I mean, there is a certain human psychology to that. But I also want to say too, with WWE fans, their expectations have been so lowered over the years that they think mid is like good.
Maybe, but I push back where it's like if this was like a 5-6 match show one night, where it's like, well, 5 or 6 of the 5 of those matches like suck, but the 6th, the main event was good. It'd be like, oh, okay, that could paper the show. But this was like a 2-night, like 8-hour show between the two, and it's like, no, like a main event has to be of such exceptional quality to paper over, and I don't feel like that is what happened here.
But it works both ways though, because how many times have you gone to a show where it's like a 6-match show, first 5 matches, awesome, kick ass, and the main event is absolute trash, garbage, bullshit that just pisses you off and you leave mad, and then 3 days later you're like, why was I so mad? Like everything else was good, but the main event, because the main event really
takes all the air out of your balloon.
But the main event really does. The main event really does affect the whole show. Like it does make or break your show, I think, in a lot of ways.
I guess, but I saved like a tweet that a guy did earlier today, or a day ago, which I thought was the best way to put it. Because someone, I guess the account Wrestle Features was complaining about people who complained about the show, where he's like night 2 absolutely tore. We witnessed one of the greatest Mania matches ever, Roman Punk. And he's like, produce good shit and people will care. And the person who actually responded to that, who had the good analogy, the account's Chop Kick Project. I don't know. They wrote this tweet in Spanish, but basically what the tweet said, I'll quote it verbatim. He's acting like he's taking the obviously the voice of this person or the people who have this mentality that this person did, where it's like, hi, I went to a restaurant to try the tasting menu. They shat in my mouth 10 times. But a couple of the dishes were decent, and the dessert was top-notch. So no doubt, I'll go back again. And it's like, that's exactly like the mentality. It's like, you shit on my face, like, all night long, but the dessert was pretty good, so I'm going to come back. And it's like, no, you don't have to.
No.
Well,
Look,
they're doing the just consume product and get ready for new product is what they're doing with the WWE now.
Chad, I know you want to say something, but I would say my wife asked me, like, hey, like, what are you talking about for the show? I'm like, we're talking about WrestleMania. She's like, how was WrestleMania? I'm like, let me put it to you this way. This analogy I use with her. Let's say you have a movie, okay? And let's almost say it's like a Marvel movie. Let's say the Marvel movie, like Avengers Doomsday's coming out.
Yeah.
It's like, let's say you have Avengers Doomsday, and it's 3 hours long, and you watch it, and 95% of the movie is boring or even bad. Like some of the parts of that is just cringe level bad, or otherwise it's just boring and not good. Occasionally, maybe you have like a scene or two with characters that you like, and that's kind of like okay, but it's like a 2-minute scene, so it's like, well, this scene was okay and had characters I liked, but it was 2 minutes long, and then mostly just boring. But then the last like 10 minutes of the movie are good. You know, not great, not this is the best ending I've ever seen, not super memorable, but good. So, you know, a normal person would walk out of that being like, yeah, it wasn't a good movie. Like, the ending was pretty decent. I like the ending, but, like, I wouldn't watch it again. That's a normal person. Like, to the WWE fan, it'd be like, no, this entire movie was great. Everything was great. Don't you dare say it wasn't great. What? You saying it wasn't great? What are you, a DC movie fan? Huh? Go watch Superman again, huh? Like, that's what you really like, Superman? It's like, the tribalism and the bullshit and the excusing like mediocrity and accepting that they're like shitting on your face.
I see you hang out in the Reddit
They
cinema
give you like one
subs.
What? What's that?
I said I see you hang out on the Reddit cinema subs because you're describing how they behave. Like I can't believe that this mid-ass movie didn't make all this money. It was great. It was like, no, it was mid.
That it's for my analogy. That'd be like, what? Like, oh, what did Superman make, huh? What did Superman make? Doomsday's gonna make $1 billion. That's better for $1 billion. Record profits. It's like,
Doomsday's fucked. Because, so, if you haven't heard the latest news, like, this is how you know it's fucked. So, they're like, well, we're gonna just throw out the last, like, 7 years of movies, and, like, we're gonna put Endgame out the month before, just to get you ready for Doomsday. And I was like, oh, this is screwed. It's screwed anyway, though, because even if it does make a decent chunk of money, they have spent so much money on this movie, there's no way it's going to be profitable.
Yeah. So, the thing I was going to say is that, God, this is going to be painful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give credit to the main event of night 2. Those two guys looked at everything that came before and went, oh, God. Like,
they at least had some professional pride.
They looked at it and they're like, oh, God, we have got to do something. And so they went out there with everything they had to put on a good match with everything they had. And you know what? Good for them. It's not my thing. I don't want to see it, but good for them. I'm glad that at least somebody was able to drag something good out of what had just been a quagmire.
That's a good word. Giggity, giggity.
Giggity, yeah. A
Well,
quagmire.
quagmire.
Of a quagmire of awfulness. Quagmire is awful, so that kind of works. In order to try and actually deliver something, and people go home with being happy with something. It's like I don't care about it. I don't want to see it. I don't. But on the other hand, they did something for their audience that needed to happen, that had not been happening. So you know what? I'm glad. Good. At least somebody cared and tried and worked to make something good out of it.
And what's worse is like, because there is a Mania week, and like barely any of the shows that happened Mania week were received well. So
Yeah.
it was just a cavalcade of crap outside of like the Maple Leaf Crow show, Joey Janela's first spring break, because they have the clusterfuck as its own thing, which I think they need to retire the clusterfuck personally. And then there was something else that got like decently received, I think. I do think it's funny that we shit talked blood sports and how it's fallen off, and then they said this is the last one for a while. Because I'm just shocked that Shooter Natty Neidhart was not a draw.
Oh, that's the joke, because I saw someone comment about this, and I went like my head to my forehead, because I'm like, oh my god, that's what's gonna happen. Like when Josh Barnett like said he was done, whatever. Like I saw someone post like coming soon, Natty Neidhart's Bloodsport, and I'm like, oh my god, that's what's gonna happen. Like that's what we're gonna see. It's gonna the total WWE takeover of Bloodsport is that's the logical conclusion. You're gonna see Natty Neidhart be the one to take up the mantle from Josh Barnett. Like I almost want to put money on the table and be like, that's gonna happen.
It's gonna be funny seeing those shows draw nothing because no one gives a shit about her. Like that's the one thing you'll see when people are talking about Bloodsport. Even the people are kind of pros, like, yeah, the Natty Neidhart thing's stupid. Like no one liked that. And they had her like, and I mean, I knew they were gonna do it, and they did it by count out. But having her beat Shayna Baszler, like, just fuck off. Like fuck right off. Like that is not believable at all. It's like when they had Regal's kid beat Akoi, who is like Oki, or I would be able to pronounce it every time, but they had him beat like a legitimate like MMA like name that has like a pedigree and like a history and stuff. But and then he beat Timothy Thatcher, which again is like, okay, whatever, guys. But I think that concept lost a lot of its luster, and surprisingly, it is not an unpopular opinion when I was looking around this weekend for people to say, yeah, adding all the WWE talent ruined it. So I was kind of surprised about that. Makes me sad. I did like the Bloodsport concept until they did that.
As I talked about last week, like I did like it, but as soon as they started adding WWE,
oh yeah,
I saw where that was trending, and it's like,
you know,
it was already to me. It was already compromised. I already started like,
no. I know. I that's when I lost interest. But I also think it's indicative of where wrestling is as a whole, indie and everything. That you watch Spring Break, and then you come away from that thinking, Brody Jr. is a better wrestler than like a shitload of people.
I'm not to be mean, but I saw especially like someone comment that, oh, Brody Jr. is better than a lot of the women. A lot of the women wrestlers in like NXT and on the WWE in general, and it's like, I know,
he's got better timing, and he's got good execution, but
Aptitude is
I'm
good.
going to grain of salt it because, this was not a match he bumped in. This was not a match that he was selling in or something like. This was a match of him beating up Joey Janela, which, let's be honest, if you're going to do that with him, it's what it should be. And I think he's got great promise. And I hope dearly. Oh, I put that on the other. No, it's right there. I hope dearly that some manifestation of this can be.
I think he shows aptitude. I think that's a key thing people don't understand. Like when Gable Stevenson came in and everyone was like in the Dave Meltzer circle were like all excited, like, oh my god, he's gonna be so good, he's gonna be so good. It's like you haven't even seen him wrestle. Like there's plenty of like professional athletes that have come into wrestling and have been absolute stiffs because they don't have the aptitude for it.
Yeah.
So like I think that's where what he has going for him is he has aptitude for it.
He's got aptitude and he's got desire. He's got aptitude and he wants it, and he's got lots of people around him that want to help him. So I feel like being set up is not the right phrase.
Nurtured. Cultivated.
Yeah, I feel like that he has an opportunity to be nurtured is probably a good way to put it, nurtured into a very bright future in it, wherein it is his legacy is not just based off of his father.
No, he's done a good job of developing his own character. I think.
I'm hoping.
I think this Mania week though did show like how bad it's getting on the indies. Just how they've not made any new talent. They're just, I don't know, like I think our friend Justin put it best when he said like the super indie mentality is really holding these companies back now.
Because everybody wants to be the super indie?
Yeah.
I was thinking about it last week, I believe. And the thing that's standing out to me is it felt like in years past there was kind of a pathway. Like if you wanted to get known, if you wanted to get notable, you start doing this, you work more places, and you try and get in here. And if you get in here, you can get noticed. And if you get noticed, then you can go from getting in here to getting in there and getting noticed and getting better and that sort of, like, now off the top of my head, at least in the US, the only one I can think of that would be a big name to have around, and it's not just they don't market themselves this way, but it is a bigger name one who has crossover with some notable stars, is like Pro Wrestling Revolver.
They are kind of not what they were, but they would be up there. Like it used to be, it would kind of shift. But yeah, you're probably right on Pro Wrestling Revolver. I don't really think there is like the it indie anymore, because I think IWTV's kind of like homogenized it a lot. Well, honestly, like I think Spring Break is probably like the premier indie event now.
But in terms of just promotions, that's
I don't know
why I would lean towards Revolver.
I do know they decided to let like Effie and Alley Catch go for like 30 minutes, and it was quite possibly the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, I didn't watch it. There was no way I was going to watch it.
I guess she's Fed bound. I don't even know why the Fed wants her.
Honestly. Well, she's going to be on Evolve, which is like the developmental of the developmental.
Yeah, but she's really bad. Like, I'm sorry. Like, she seems like a lovely person, but she sucks as a wrestler.
Look, I've seen her work live the first time probably 2019, maybe. And we're now 6+ years since that, and I
She's
have
worse.
seen
She's worse.
zero.
No, she's gotten worse.
At minimum, I'll be charitable and say like I've not seen any improvement in 6 years.
I think she's gotten worse as time's going on, but yeah, she's not.
Maybe,
I will give her credit.
Not better.
I will give her credit. I think she got Big Swole fired from AEW, so good job on that one. because here's why I think that. So her contract was coming up, and I think the last match she worked in AEW is they had her go along with Allie Katch on like Dark or Elevation. So I feel like what happened is they brought her in, and the idea was, well, let's see if Big Swole can get anything out of her. And then the match was absolute garbage. So then Tony Khan was like, no, you're not working out. And so that's kind of why I think she got her fired. Because I think she got tested and she failed her test. Because I think that's a valid thing to do. If like, you're trying to develop someone, you don't think they're doing, it's like, okay, like, well, we're bringing in someone known to suck, and I want to see if you can get something out of them.
But I don't feel Big Swole was the person for that.
No, but I mean, like, let's say, but I mean, Shad was obviously better and had more commitment than Big Swole. But like, if I was the promoter and I was like, okay, like I'm thinking about pushing you, or I want to commit more to you, but like, I want to test you, so I'm going to bring in this guy that is known to suck, and I want to see if you can get anything out of him. I feel like Shad'd be like, okay, let's do this.
I did that twice.
Oh yeah, interesting.
I got paired up with the guy because they didn't have anything else for me to do on a show, with a guy who he was a nice guy, but he sucked. And actually, there were 3 matches. The first match, I had some of the guys tell me don't give him anything, but what they told me later was, well, this wasn't supposed to be a squash. This was supposed to be see how well you put together a match. And I was like, okay. So subsequent matches I had with him, I am doing my dead level best to try and get something interesting out of him. And here's the thing. In those matches, I either was or got myself over. I just couldn't do a damn thing with him. Like, I'm trying to give him stuff, and it's just not working. So I go back to doing my stuff, and people are into it. Okay. That's what you want me to do. I gave him space to do stuff, and it didn't work. So I took back over to do my stuff, and it did.
I feel like though that is passing the test in a way, because you're showing. Like, I would see, like, I feel like if you were a promoter, you'd see that, like, okay, well, he tried, and this guy's hopeless, but then he salvaged something at least out of the match.
Mm-hmm.
But then so I guess we can get to our matches this week. So we have a bit of an oddity. So this is Cactus Jack in All Japan in 1991. So we have 2 matches because they're short. So he was in the Champions Carnival, and he was like the job guy. So he was like the low man on the totem pole. So we have a match with Kenta Kobashi and a match with Jumbo Tsuruta. I believe this is the first time Shad's seen Jumbo. No, Shad might have seen Jumbo before, but this is...
If I have, I cannot remember what it was.
So the Jumbo match is a televised match, and then the Kobashi match is a handheld.
Yeah,
and
I gotta tell you, the Kobashi match is that video quality is rough.
Yeah, but it's nice to have, though. It's nice to have for like just getting to see it.
Sure,
but
it's there.
So the Jumbo match is pretty short because, like, obviously, like, Jumbo's like the top guy in the promotion at the time. So pretty much it's Foley does some stuff, and Jumbo's just clearly better and beats him in fairly quick fashion. It's an okay match.
So my takeaway from this match with Jumbo Tsuruta was he gave Foley space to do stuff. And the way that they balance the scales is, it was like a 3 or 4 to 1 exchange rate. For every 3 or 4 things Foley would do, Tsuruta would do 1 back. And so you got to see the opportunity of Cactus Jack looking vicious and doing a little bit of wild stuff. But then when Tsuruta comes back and just lays him out, right? It's I think that it is an example of, like, Foley is showing in the Tsuruta match a way to get over even in a loss, which frankly he was pretty good at. You know, he's doing wild stuff, he's going at him, he's playing the wild man. And then here comes Tsuruta and he does like that jumping knee and Foley's like staggered and wobbles back and sells real big for it. So yes, there's no question Tsuruta was going to win this, but I liked the way the balance was done.
And I like that, speaking of excess, which we've talked about a lot lately due to what we're watching, I liked how Tsuruta was like, I'm clearly better than this guy. I don't need my entire arsenal. Like, I'm just going to do what gets the job done.
Mm-hmm.
And I there is something interesting because AI is good for certain things. Because so there was like a ping and like this stuff came on the screen repeatedly. So I took pictures and I fed it into AI. I'm like, what is this? And so an earthquake had hit at 1:45 that day. So they were doing an emergency service, and then they were saying what the severity of each location received that it hit. So that is what that was.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I was curious because I didn't know what it was. So like I said, I took some pictures. I'm like, hey AI, what is this? And it was like, oh, this is an earthquake warning. And it hit Tokyo and some other, I don't remember what the other place was.
They did a good job with this one. Out of the two, I preferred this one very much.
I feel like Foley did some cooler stuff in the second match, but I did prefer this one better. And the second, I also appreciate the second one because he got one of his signature spots from that match. The double underhook DDT. He obviously took that from Kobashi.
That's fair. I think the difference between the two of these is that with the Tsuruta match, it starts off with Foley going after him. Foley, they go to log, and Foley starts in on him early, and so it feels more like a back and forth contest, even though, like, Brad provided the context, like, this is what's going to be. But we get back and forth this way, as opposed to the Kobashi match where, like, the first half of the match is just Kobashi kicking the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, this is one of those matches.
I had to give you context because some people, when they delve into Japan, like, especially when the very hierarchical booking was in place, like, they freak out and say something sucks. Like, no, this is like, because what people often don't understand about this style of booking is, like, they're like, well, why didn't Foley get like a 12-minute match? Like, because that would have buried Jumbo. Yeah. And that like style of booking.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't have gotten Foley over. It would have made Jumbo look like shit.
Yeah, for both of these, Foley is basically like a job duty. But I will say, like, this isn't like a traditional like squash match type of thing. Like, he got offense.
Yeah.
On both these guys, and he looked good at points.
No, I'd say Jumbo gave him a lot.
Jumbo gave him a lot, and he allowed Foley to do like a lot of his like signature spots, like the elbow to the outside, which he hit. Like, he looked good and strong enough that, he still was. It wasn't like, oh, he's a chump. It's just like, he did his stuff, and Jumbo was, Jumbo's Jumbo, so he was like one of your top guys, so he still beats him. Yeah. And does it pretty quickly. I think that match was like, what, like 5-6 minutes?
Yeah, 5-6 minutes. Quick. What you'd expect for that style of match to be.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
It was like the Jumbo match was a quick sprint, like, but it was good for what it was. I mean, it's not a 5-star classic, but it was entertaining.
And it's like it's also a tournament match. They're doing like a bunch of singles matches, so like they're conserving. But I'd also say, like, when you talk about, like, well, what would Foley's placement be? Like, he's obviously not a young boy that just gets dominated. Like, he puts up a fight. He's just clearly not in the same league.
Right.
So he'd be like a JTTS in, like, the American landscape.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Shad. You were talking.
No, it's fine. Go.
I was just gonna say, like, if you, and I'm not by no means an expert, but if you've seen, I guess, a little bit of All Japan, especially like from the '80s, like, he's almost derivative, and I don't like saying that because I felt like Mick Foley as the Cactus Jack character was his own thing, but you do kind of see, like, he's clearly building upon kind of the trope of, like, the American, like, wild man brawler that you've seen already in All Japan in the form of, like, Bruiser Brody or
Stan Hansen,
but
Terry
also
Gordy to a degree.
Yeah, but also like the kind of wild man character that you see like with Killer Tim Brooks, or even not quite, because they're their own thing too, but like Abdullah or
the Funks to a degree.
The Funks, which I sometime soon, I told you guys before, like, I actually have found like some Funk tag team matches from All Japan that I want us to dive into for one episode.
That's probably coming up in May, folks. Who were they wrestling? You told me, and I was really intrigued by it. It was like the Funks.
I found 3 matches from like 82, 83, where it's the Funks, so Dory and Terry, just against Brody and Hansen.
Oh, okay.
And I'm super excited because I'm gonna be shocked if those matches aren't at least good, considering who's involved.
I have all sorts of Blu-rays for.
Oh yeah.
I have.
Is that the Championship Carnival?
Yeah.
What year is that? 85 or 95?
95.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't read from the glare.
No, I know. As soon as I pulled it out, I was like, shit, you can't read it. I have stuff from the 70s. Oh, I do have this.
Gary Albright.
Gary Albright, yeah.
For all my suplexing needs.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of All Japan stuff on Blu-ray. But the second one, I did like Foley. They kind of brawled on the outside more, and I liked Foley kind of did this diving clothesline where he knocked Kobashi over the guardrail. I thought that was a really cool spot. Obviously, so I had to ask Shad, and I guess it's in his book. But so Kobashi beats him with the double underhook DDT, which Foley then used for the rest of his career.
Yeah. It's I don't know if this was a specific thing, but it's in Foley's first book that he says the double arm DDT that he stole from Kobashi. So the more Kobashi stuff I see, the more I realize I also have some misconceptions that I need to ditch, because I'm like, oh wow, I was under, for example, then this is basic, but I was under the assumption that the Orange Crush was like his regular finish. Apparently not.
Yeah.
Apparently it wasn't used very much, so I was like, okay.
You know what, I don't know why it's been such a thing with me the last couple of years, but you know what always strikes me every time we've gone into a Kobashi match recently? It's been like, he's way bigger than I remembered.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, he is a big guy.
He is so broad.
Yeah.
It is almost unreal how broad he.
Because
I can't remember where I saw it. The other day I saw someone do the like, oh, you think that people ought to be able to see through Clark Kent wearing glasses? And there was a picture of Kenta Kobashi like in the ring looking huge, that sort of stuff. And then there was a picture of him wearing a suit with glasses, and I was like, if people knew what the hell this was, this would be the perfect example.
He looked like Japanese Clark Kent.
Yeah.
And handsome guy, like he had like almost had like the S curl that the old school Superman.
He almost had that spit curl there.
Well, I actually liked how Post Crisis handled that aspect of Superman, because this is I'm going way in the weeds here. So they did early. I don't know if they ever followed up on much, but like Lex Luthor was trying to get photographs of him to figure out who he was. And I guess they're like, oh, we can't really photograph him because like he does these microscopic movements of his head all the time, and like it makes it so you can't get a clear picture of him.
Yeah, that he could hear the shutter going, so he would blur his face when you try and take a picture of it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. I remember hearing that. I'm like, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Superman.
I feel like that. I don't know. I that never bothered me much because I feel like there was also like a mentality thing. Like he was so meek and stuff. They kind of changed that in Post Crisis. I actually like Post Crisis Clark a lot better because like he makes so much more sense, and like his relationship with Lois makes more sense because like he's accomplished. He's written like a novel at this point. Like he was a football star, and she's pissed off because he got the job at the Daily Planet by interviewing Superman, and she was pissed. She's like, how did this dumb hick get this interview that I would literally push an old lady in front of a train for? It's kind of like the start of their rivalry.
I know he's not a popular figure, but to be honest, I liked the dichotomy that Dean Cain had on Lois and Clark. Because, like, you spend time with the character, it's like, yeah, okay, that's obviously the same person. But, you know, they would go to enough lengths that you're like, okay, these come off as a different kind of guy, and Clark wears clothes that's a little big for him and speaks in a different I have done an
Kinda
entire
hunched over a bit.
I've done an entire workshop on body language using Clark Kent and Superman as the example. And you can Christopher Reeve is a great way of putting it. Because that scene where he's going to tell Lois, and he takes the glasses off, and he takes the glasses off and changes his posture. And you're like, oh, that's it right there. And then he chickens out and he puts them back on and resumes the posture he had. It's just like, people that ask that have not looked, you know, they ask that question, but they haven't looked for an answer.
Yeah.
Have a, just as an aside, like, have either of you seen the Superman from last year or the Superman from last year?
Not yet. I've heard very good things, and I've seen some clips that I'm just like, I'm very happy with the way a lot of characters were done.
So I saw it because on spring break we went to San Antonio, where my wife is from, to be with grandma, grandpa, as I mentioned last episode. But I did watch it on the plane going there, and I enjoyed it. I feel like I need to watch it multiple times, but I liked it. I thought it was very good. I don't know if it's like, oh my god, great, you know, but I thought it was really good, and I did like David Coruscant, might be, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I might be pronouncing it wrong, but I did like, however you pronounce it, Corn Sweat, maybe. I did like his portrayal of Superman, and I thought that he was kind of he did. It's not like, oh, revolutionary take on Superman. Like it was. Maybe it's different than other people who have portrayed Superman, but it was. I felt very true to Superman, and I like that he actually did capture what I feel like in the essence of Superman should be. That he's like, well, there's been look, Superman has been around for like what? 80 years, 90 years?
90 about, because he came out around 38, I think.
Like almost like a century, like he's been around. Like, so there's been many different portrayals of Superman.
A lot of his stuff is actually taken from Doc Savage pulp novels. Like the Fortress of Solitude is something that was a Doc Savage concept that they took.
Yeah.
But the Boy Scout thing from him is a Doc Savage.
Yeah, but there are things about Superman, and I've said on this show before, like Superman's not my favorite comic book character, like by a lot, because I don't like how invincible he is. But when the character is kind of portrayed as like a Boy Scout, or basically like at his heart who he really is, he's not basically like an invincible god of a being. He's a Kansas farm boy. He's a Kansas farm boy.
Like that's
like,
what
he portrayed. he portrayed Superman more as like a human, like he's like a Kansas farm boy. Because there's some points where like the interaction like he does with Lex Luthor, and I thought that Nicholas Hoult did a good job playing Lex Luthor. He does a different take on Luthor than we've seen before, but a far more like despicable, like unambiguously like an asshole, like evil Luthor. But there are points where Luthor's really up as like bothered by Superman being an alien who's, you know, super powered and not human, whatever. And I do feel like they do a pretty good job where Superman is a more human character than even like Lex Luthor, because he actually cares like dramatically about even like the ordinary people. But there are things that I like about where he was portrayed almost like a Kansas farmer, like, aw shucks, because there's one point towards the end of the film where Mr. Terrific, who's great in the movie,
Oh yeah,
I did like that character.
I really like their portrayal.
He like shouts
of
at Superman, is like, "Hey, stop goofing around. We got stop goofing around. We got, like, you know, a situation we got to fix." And Superman, who's injured, he's like laying on his back. He's like, "I'm not goofing off. I'm doing like important stuff here." And it's like he says it like really exasperated, but like injured. But it's like, that to me is like, that's how I want Superman portrayed. It's like he's a god being, basically.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's actually like just a Kansas farm boy.
Yeah.
Like a good guy, and he's like, "Don't yell at me. Like, I'm doing my best here, guys."
Yeah.
Like,
dude, I'm working on
come
it.
on, like.
I like the Lex Luthor that has a little more depth. Like, I've been reading Post Crisis recently, and there was one where like Superman it came up about like, "Oh, you don't care about your employees," and he was kind of like, "Of course I care about my employees. Like, I can't make any money if they're unhappy or injured." So it's like it's like, yeah, I take good care of my employees because I make more money when I take good care of my employees. Like, is kind of what he was saying.
One of the things that from the clips and from everyone I've talked to, I've taken away is apparently Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane is the most spot on casting in the history of the character. Like, apparently she is just straight up perfect for that role.
I don't know. I like Dana Delaney and the animated series. I thought she was a really strong Lois.
Yes. Well, I mean, damn near everything the animated series did was top tier. So for them to be really good as opposed to perfect, I mean,
I have a soft spot for Margot Kidder too.
I thought Rachel Brosnahan had good chemistry with David. I will say other characters I thought were really entertaining was Mr. Terrific, and also Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. Like, Guy Gardner is actually a fun character.
Did they put Bibbo in it?
No. They had Crypto in it. Crypto is actually kind of fun.
Because Bibbo is my favorite part of the animated series when he pops up. I just love Bibbo. Bibbo cracks me up.
I did love, like I said, I've seen bits of it, and I did love that Guy Gardner's an unrepentant dick. I'm like, okay,
he's a dick. He's absolutely a dick in the film.
And I really, really, really liked the Mr. Terrific. The attitude's a little bit more cold than it was in the Justice Society run, but frankly, I'm okay with it. And the T-Spear fight scene that he did, that was like, okay, finally, someone gets Mr. Terrific and has Mr. Terrific kicking ass the way that Mr. Terrific needs to kick ass.
He's a really good character, and I will say this, like, there's no, I mean, they're obviously building towards, like, you know, more, this is like the reboot of the DC film universe, but the superheroes in this are obviously Superman, and you have Green Lantern and Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, and you're introduced like to Metamorpho, who I like that they did like a I like that the superhero team is the Justice Society. Oh, you do have James Gunn's brother, who I know has been in Guardians of the Galaxy. He actually is Max Lord, who but he's only he has like his screen time in the film is like, if he has 60 seconds, it's like that's probably more than he actually has. Like he's barely in it. And Crypto and Supergirl are like superheroes, but they're not. Crypto's in it. Supergirl has a cameo towards the end, but like that's all the superheroes you see, so they clearly can build more. I just find it interesting that it's like the Justice Society is who you have. Obviously, they'll probably build towards like Justice League, but I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. I wasn't. It's like, oh my god, it's a great movie. It's like, I don't know. I need to watch it more times, but I thought it was very good. I liked it. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do more with. Although they're doing the follow-up's like Supergirl, and
yeah, they picked a horrendous Supergirl story to adapt to. So
there is a sequel coming called Man of Tomorrow.
Yes, I think Brainiac's supposed to be the villain.
But yeah, I do want to see it. I just haven't yet.
Yeah,
it's good. I watched it. Well, I watched it on the plane, but I think it's on like HBO Max.
Yeah, it is. It's been on
yeah. I just haven't set aside the time for it.
Same. Because I was like, oh, I'll watch that one day, and that turned into like 8 months later.
Shad, you and I have like young kids. It's like, I'm at the point now. It's like, if I'm gonna watch a movie, it's like that's gonna have to be a Friday or Saturday night, maybe.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm officially at the age where it's like, if it's 10 p.m. at night, I'm like, oh, I can't start watching a movie. And it's like, in my youth, I'd be like, oh, whatever. Like, it's midnight. Let me like throw a 2-hour movie on. Like, whatever. Yeah. Like, if it's like 10 p.m., I'm like, oh, maybe I could start a movie and I can finish.
Like, well, that doesn't help that movies are like 3 hours long now versus like, oh, I can watch a 90-minute movie and be in bed by midnight. But do we have anything else we want to hit on?
I don't think so.
I don't know, that video with AJ Lee just pissed me off, and I don't like people trying to say Punk acted inappropriately, because I just think like, nah, like he may not, like, I think there's a way to offer him critique and like how to handle it, but like in the heat of the moment, it's like, no, I really don't have anything to say to him that's negative, because like you gotta, like it's his wife, like I don't.
Yeah, he's gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that is it for this week. I don't know what we're doing next week, because I wasn't even going into this week thinking we were going to do much Mania stuff, and then Mania was like a week of, oh, the indie stuff all sucks, Mania sucked, fans are costing wrestlers, like it's...
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. But I think that is it for this week, everyone. Thank you for joining us as always. This has been Matt, Shad, and Brad. We've been in 3 corners, and you've been in the 4th, and we will catch you next time.